We will get started. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to get our FICO score up to 800. Why do we need that? Why is that important? We're going to share about it. But I want to actually first get started with the, with the trivia question. So if you're on, you can answer this for us. Our trivia question today is, on the FICO score rating, let me make sure I answer I asked this right. So what rate is deemed a poor credit score? What rate is deemed a fair credit score? And what rate is deemed good and also deemed excellent? So in other words, your score go from 450 to 850, right? Where are you when you're poor? And where is it fair and where is it good? Because, can we get any participation on that?
Yes.
All right. Anybody? Okay. So think about it. If you want to put it up on the chat, that's okay. I just want to kind of get people involved right away. All right. So let's see. Welcome again. My name is Gary Nix with the Gary Nix team here in Keller Williams, South Bay. And my co-presenters today, Fernando Diaz with Homebridge. Fernando, can you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, Fernando here with Homebridge. I've been doing these with Gary actually pretty consistently, I guess. I'm part of this team here, the Zoom chat team, right? Or call it. And yeah, I've been in the business approximately 27 years and doing mortgages. And yeah, that's pretty much it, Gary.
Okay, that's good. And Manny, I don't know if Manny is on yet. He said he would join us. Manny does credit repair with Easy Choice Financial Corporation. They help with repairing credit and all that stuff. So we'll talk to him later on. All right. So we will get started. I want to start with the 3 myth understanding about credit. What is a myth? This is a mindset that people have about credit that makes them not to pay that much attention to it or give it that much thought. So let's go through that. Well, Fernando, maybe I just get you to help me with this. You
Sure.
say the myth and I give you the response. Okay. So myth number 1. Can you tell us what that is?
Closing your accounts or not having credit.
No, can you see the screen?
Oh, I know. I see you. Sorry. I just see somebody cutting up a credit card. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's on the other side.
Okay.
I don't need credit.
Okay. So and that's a myth that people think, oh, I don't want to have credit. I don't want to owe anybody. I pay cash for everything I want. I have my cash. I make my own money. That's kind of stuff, right? And the answer is you can't do without credit. The truth is your cash sometimes is your ATM. And if we can just change our mindset that our ATM is also our credit, right? Because there are actually places where your ATM will not go through, a regular credit card will go through. But you just got to have the mindset that you can use the credit like your ATM. Charge it, pay, right? So let's go to myth number 2. Can you see that? Fernando?
Yes,
yeah.
I see it here. Hang on. I had to move the screen again. Hang on.
Okay.
I don't want debt. The answer, you want to have good debt. Yeah, you want to have constructive debt, basically, is what I call it. So, for example, mortgages are, to me, considered constructive debt. Installments, maybe you have a car lease or a car payment, obviously because you have to get to work. That's a constructive debt. Revolving debt is where it gets a little bit crazy. That's where you would say that's credit card debt, which, obviously in case of emergency, something comes up. I get that. Everybody, these things happen in life, but maintaining a lot of revolving debt for no particular reason, just because you want to buy something, is not necessarily, that's not considered good constructive debt.
So basically, you can live quality life without, some debt, right? You can have
Absolutely.
mortgage without debt. Yeah,
Yep.
you can pay cash for $1 million house, but why? Why not leverage yourself?
Leverage your money. No,
Yeah,
no,
leverage your money to, if you're gonna buy $1 million home, if you put $200,000 on one home, you can put $200,000 on 4 different homes, and
exactly.
build wealth that way. So, yeah, you do want, good debt, and all right. And last one. So I guess got to scoot to the right. So that one is basically saying, I don't want to be too straight. I want to be an edgy, kind of person. And that's what that's a misconception. It really is a myth that people believe that if you are, if you're too straight, if you have good credit, it's just a total misconception. You are a great person, and we're going to show you the examples later on about individuals with good credit and bad credit, what they can get in their life. So your being straight or edgy does not debar you from having a good credit. It just shows you have wisdom. If you pay your credit on time, you've got good sense. That's all that is. All right. So I want you to imagine a life of endless possibilities, where you get the best of a cake. If a cake is on the table, they give you the very best one. You are reserved the best sitting at an event. You suffer less than anyone. Even when issues come up, yours is much easier. You get considered for anything you want in life. Basically anything. You go to Macy's, you go to living spaces, anything you want, you get it because you have great credit. Nothing comes easy, but everything is possible. So let's kind of bring it on. You see this couple here, they're laughing, they're happy. Let's bring that home for you to see why this is so. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so I always like to start with these two brothers, okay? These are two brothers that are making the same kind of money, went to school, got their graduation, got their degree, both have a job and making the same kind of money. And this is very typical of us in the workplace, right? Imagine in your workplace, your co-workers that make the same money as you do, right? But yet their lifestyle is a little bit different, from you. And this is the reason why I want to kind of show you, kind of bring it on for you guys. So they both want to buy a $50,000 car, right? They both putting, that $50,000 car, they're putting 10% down. So that would be $5,000, right? Which is very honorable. Now, here's the difference. When brother one has a 580 FICO score, and his payment basically for 6 years is 822, right? Because if you don't have a good FICO score, you're gonna go through what they call special financing, and your payment is your payment, and you're stuck with this payment for the next 6 years. And then let's look at the second brother has a good FICO. Has a good FICO, and the payment is $616 for the same car they're driving. Now, again, let's assume they're making $100,000, right? You got an 822 and you got 616. That's about $200 less payment. Now, let's kind of imagine, what can you do with $200 every month, right? It means you can probably take your family you know, these are young people, maybe take a date, maybe go out on 3 dates, right? Take a lady to a restaurant. It could be taking the family to go eat out.
Gary, when's the last time you went on a date? $200. That's it. What's one date? That's not 3 dates. Where are you going? 3 dates. Inflation. Have you been out there?
If you get to the movies, you know, you take somebody to the movies. How much is the movie? $20 or something. You know, buy popcorn and you know, and it's a good idea. The idea is that it gives them something else to be able to do. This is why you see somebody with a quality life, like, hey, you know, this guy is and it could be anybody. It could be a lady taking a son or daughter out. It could be, you know, going to McDonald's a few times, you know. It just gives you that little extra quality living. Now, let's look at it on this way. If you save $200 for 5 months, now you got $1,000, right? You want to go on vacation? I know a few vacations you can take with $1,000 and have a really good time, even if it's a 4-day weekend or something like that, right? That's every 5 months you can go on that. That's the extra amenity that you have. Now, I'm gonna have you come on. So I'm gonna have you come on and talk to us about mortgage. Let me take this off. So now let's talk about if somebody was to buy a house, right? They're looking to buy a home, and if they have a lower FICO score compared to a higher FICO score, what's gonna be the difference in there?
Well, there are many differences, so they need to be kind of broken into, I guess, brackets, if you want to say that. But what people don't realize is that your credit score, when it comes to mortgages, affects all kinds of different, you know, variables. So, for example, depending on the size of the mortgage, there are certain investors that have minimums in terms of FICO scores. It could be 700 or 720 in some cases, and they just don't want to deal with individuals that have scores underneath those thresholds, for no matter what it is, no matter what the reason is, they don't care. Okay. The other thing in terms of rates and mortgage insurance, which in some cases you will have if you have less than 20% down, people don't realize two things. On the government side, you know, a government loan such as an FHA loan, the mortgage insurance there is fixed. So for individuals, if you have a 600 score or an 800 score, you pay the same. It doesn't matter. But what people don't realize is that what you're paying the government is very, very high compared to the conventional markets if you have a good score. So I'll give you a perfect example. I had a client here last week, and they came in initially, they were talking to another bank, and they said, hey, you know, we've settled in on FHA because it's 3.5% and et cetera, and they're looking for a house in Lakewood and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we ran a model with FHA. Here it is in front of them. And once I pulled their credit, they had excellent credit, both over 780, 790. And I said, look, you know, if you guys can put 5% down, look at this. Based on the mortgage insurance cost, they were not aware. They were saving about $440 a month from one to the other because of the fact that their credit score was that much higher. The mortgage insurance on the conventional side, guys, was 1/3 the cost of what the government would charge you. Okay, so that was a learning experience for them, and obviously now they're going in that direction. But scores by brackets affect your interest rates. They can affect your mortgage insurance costs, depending on the type of financing we're doing. And they can also affect your qualifying, because if the score isn't at a certain level, some institutions or programs will push your qualifying power down for, you know, over some that will let you go higher if you have a higher score. So sure. I will leave it at that unless there's questions. Yep.
All right. Thank you. Anybody have any questions, by the way?
Okay. Yes, I do. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What do you mean higher score? What are we talking about, the maximum?
Well, I mean, anything over 800, you would say is on the threshold of, you know, beyond the top. But in terms of mortgages, I would say 740 and higher, for the most part, is an excellent score. for, I would say, 90% of all products. Every now and then, when you get into what's called the jumbo loan, which are, let's say loans over $1 million, hypothetically, now they even go 760 and even 780 in some cases in those products to reach the top tiers. But for the most part, for most financing in our world, 740 and above is considered excellent.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay, let's go back to our slide. Let's see. Okay, so I want to first kind of educate us about how credit works, right? Our FICO score is rated by 3 companies. Most people know that: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And some of them report soaring credits, some of them report all credits. I just had someone that was reported by their landlord, and it came on 2 of these scores, and the one that did not reflect that, she had a pretty high score, and the 2 that reflect that, brought her score down. So it depending on the credit. Student loan is another one. It's not reported by all the 3. It's reported by 2. But most, if it comes to matters of mortgages, they look at it 3 scores, and they judge you by the middle score, right? So first want you guys to be aware. So if you have an app, maybe Credit Karma or TransUnion or Equifax, and they show you 1 score, that's the one part. There's 2 other parts to it, and that's how they make a determination on how good you are, right? What is a trade line? Is money on yet? No. Okay. So a trade line is a record of activity for any type of credit extended to a borrower and reported to a credit reporting agency. So if you have a trade line with, let's say you have a Macy's credit card or Capital One credit card, that is a trade line. If you have another one with another company, let's say Bank of America credit card or Wells Fargo credit card, that's a trade line. Your student loan, that's a trade line. So those are the singular things that's considered a trade line. So I want you to know that the power is in our hands. What we do with it, with that trade line, that power is in our hands. And what we hope to share with you today is just consistent habits that's going to make that score go up for you, okay? And one thing I find out is communication. Communication is the key. And I'm going to use, I think just this week, I had a client call me up and say, hey, Gary, I was sick for a couple of months. I've been making my mortgage payment, but I'm not going to go back to work until next week, and I won't have this coming payment. What do I do? And I said, it's really not a problem. Thank you for calling me. All you got to do is call the credit company. And she said, he had called them up already. They asked him if it's COVID. It said not COVID, but it's had health issues. But he's been able to make the last 2 payments. It's been out for 3 months. So it's going back to work by next month to be able to make. So I said, just call them up and tell them, you're going to have a delayed 1 month. They actually agree. They're not going to report him for late. They're going to move it to the back of his payment. You have a 60, 360 payments to make on a house. They were that easy to work with. It was shocked when they called me back, like, Gary, I can't believe that. I say, yes, all it takes is communication. When we communicate with these people, your creditors are not trying to, there are some, they're not so good. Community bank is really tough, okay? But most of the time, they all want to work with you. It's just you communicating with them, okay? So answer every call from your creditors. Now, sometimes we are so confident, and this has happened to me before too, where you're so confident, oh, you've made that payment. You've already paid it to 0. Why are they calling me? I don't need to answer that call. You don't know the reason why. Just answer every call from your creditor. I'm going to use mine as an example. It bit me in the butt. I think Target, about a few years back, I charged some little thing in there and I made my payment to zero, right? So the next month I saw a missed call from them. I'm like, why's Target calling me? I already make their payment to zero, right? And the next month after that call came through, they hit me for 30 days late. I'm like, what the hell? So I called them up like, what the hell? You give it? They say you had $2 of interest that you didn't pay because I haven't used the card in months, right? It's just $2. And I had to fight and fight to get them to take it off. But it's that simple. If I'd answered that call, that is avoided because that little late you will ding you almost 60 points on your FICO score. So please, let's make a habit of don't say, because I don't have the money, answer the call. Again, communicate your situation always. Whatever your situation is, you communicate with them. There will be somebody ready to listen. Maybe sometimes you call an operator and the operator, say, we're just going to make note of it. Actually speak to a manager. So that way you escalate your situation up and somebody will answer you on it. Respond to every threat of collections. This is a big one. They don't put collection on you without first sending you sometimes multiple letters of warning that they're going to put you on collection. So don't ignore it. Respond to it. Respond to every threat of collection that you get. Any comments on this?
Well, I think that one of the things people don't do, and you should at least once a year obtain a copy of your credit report to make sure that the information that you're seeing is accurate. A lot of people just they seem to ignore that or just don't ever get a copy of their credit report until one day they were trying to get a car loan or a mortgage loan and they realize, oh, what is all this or what happened here? And especially in today's world with so much fraud out there, it is very important to once or twice a year have a good look at it just to make sure things are fine.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go down on some facts that we need to know. Just give me a second. I got a bunch of people that can figure out how to log in.
And the other thing I will say, because Gary, based on what you were just saying, is not only contest or answer any questions that may come up, but it's important to also get a copy of your credit report, because sometimes these credit companies, whatever they may be, mortgage companies, credit companies, or whatever, they make mistakes too. And sometimes, I'm sure it's happened to me with a mortgage company that we were accelerating payments, and then they thought in their system that we were late because they kept getting these payments going forward. And we actually had to get an attorney involved. And all of a sudden, when they realized their mistake, they fixed it very quickly. But it had to get to that point, and because it was their fault. We were actually paying extra faster, and their system was not keeping up with that. And they created a late, which obviously, as you guys know, that's a big problem.
Yep.
I have a question. Is Credit Karma, are they up to date, like accurate with their numbers in terms of if they have the three reporting, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion? Are they up to date?
Credit Karma is more of a guide. It's
Okay.
not, I would say, 100% accurate. It's probably, in the 80 to 90 percentile range, but it's a guide. So if you see that things are good or heading in the right direction there, odds are that on our side, when we pull your credit, and that's one thing to remember, guys, a mortgage credit pull is probably the most accurate / comprehensive, I should say, pull of all. That's where you're going to get very, very, should we say, in-depth look at your credit versus, let's just say, like a Capital One credit card. When they pull your credit, it's more of like a light pull, like a snapshot, and they're fine with that. We're very comprehensive, obviously, on our side for that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Yes.
For a credit card that you closed off, you paid off, you don't want it anymore, because I really didn't know. I was new at looking at my credit. So the card, I got rid of it. And now it was a 30-day on there. And I can't get rid of the 30-day late, even though I don't have the card. It's on my credit.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll address that a little bit later on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the facts to know. All right, this is actually the question we put up, but that's fine. So you have a rating in your credit where it goes from poor to fair to good to excellent, right? Obviously, the lowest you can have is a 400, FICO score. And if you're going 400 to around 600, maybe about 550, you're in the poor. And then when you move up, from 550 to like 600, you're in the fair, and you start getting to the good once you start going over the 600. And of course, excellent is anything 720, maybe 740 and above. That's where you're basically the king. And again, our goal today is to actually educate you on how you can get to 800 FICO score. I just want to, on the side, we're putting there that $50 collection can bring you down 100 score. So that's how bad a collection can be. That's why I'm like, before any collection is put on you, you're going to get mails on it. You're going to get calls on it. It's really important that we answer those calls and take it seriously, because they want to help you. If you are still in the arguing part, and letting them know either it's justified or not justified, they don't put it on you until you don't respond to them. When you don't respond, then they will automatically put it on you. Okay. Okay. So again, these are the facts to know. You never fully charge your revolving account, because most of your rating is based on your revolving account, right? So you never fully charge your account. Instead of that, what do I mean? If, let's say you have a Capital One card with 2,000 credit limit, you are already at 1,000 in spending. And life happens, you need to spend some more money. You got to buy something for your kid. You got to buy, you need something for, school, for life, whatever that may be, right? And it's going to cost you $800 to charge that. Rather than charging that $800 on that $2,000 balance you have, credit limit you have, call the creditors and say, hey, can you increase my credit limit to $3,000 or $4,000? Oh, wow. Believe it or not, if you've been good in making your payments, they will consider that. And when they do that, so let's say you have a $2,000 credit limit, you have a $1,000 balance, you need to spend $800, which is not going to bring you to 90% of usage on the card. If you just get them to move it up to $3,000 or $4,000, now if you spend that $800, you're still less than 50% or 70%, and then you want to quickly pay it down as you can to under 30%. That's the strategy you must have, and hopefully that's a wisdom that people will pick up from this seminar. Okay, let's look at something else. Keep your revolving account under 30% at all times. Don't say because you have, oh, I just got a card, I got $5,000, or I got $15,000. Let me go on a shopping spree, right? We know the ladies are really good for that, right? You go to the mall, it's like, okay, I got a card, let me go have some fun. So try and just be aware that, okay, you really need to be spending your credit card like you're spending your ATM. If you don't have it, don't spend it. And if you know, okay, I have this, okay, go use the card and come back and pay it, with less than 30 days, pay it right back down, right? be that focus on it, and you can still have a great time, but you're spending money that you have, right? Late payments. This is the biggest bug for everybody. A late payment, especially in the last 6 months or 12 months, it can affect you really negatively when you're looking to get anything, right? You want to buy a car, you want to apply for a new credit because you want to buy a new furniture. If they see a late payment in your recent pool, it's going to debar you from getting that. So you always avoid to be late. At the very least, now some people will like, okay, my minimum credit payment is $25, but I always pay $100. Now something happened, you don't have the $100. Oh, I'm gonna wait till I have the $100. No, pay at least the very minimum payment that you need to pay. It will keep you for that month, right? And then the next month you can make more payment, but never go to the point where you have late payment. So like I said, a recent payment, a recent late can cause a denial on a big loan. I have someone that's in this right now that about to get a loan for $650,000, but the school loan, what do you call it? The student loan reported a late on her, and that's causing her not to be able to get a $650,000 in loan. So it's really that important that you do not, even your student loan that most people just don't want to pay attention to, you make sure you are in good standings with them, right?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you again for taking the question. If you accidentally forget to pay a bill, and they tell you are going to pay, it's just like I think $1 something, and they charge me $49 for late fee, and I said, oh, wow, I forgot this bill. I thought I already paid, and I called them. They were able to take that $49 off from me. Then I just paid the one something. Will that also affect your FICO score?
It depends. Sometimes when they take it off, they also take the 30 days off because you're hit with that late payment because you were 30 days late, right? So it just depends on the company. You want to plead to them that please do not report me 30 days late, right? If they accept the grace, like I said, most banks are really good with that. Community bank, people that have community bank, and community bank, by the way, they are the one that finance like a Target. I don't think Macy's, but Victoria's Secret, all those children's store, Gap, store, whatever. Those are all mostly all community banks, right?
Okay.
And they are very tough. They would not take it off. So please, again, the key thing is not to get there. You would have gotten, they always come, all of this bank will communicate with you that you're late. You see them start calling you when you're almost 30 days late. If you answer the call, you would have solved the problem, right? Problem is that, oh, I don't owe that person any money, so we don't call, like I did with Target, right? I don't owe, now I've overcome that Target stuff. I've gotten to 800 FICO score, thank God, but they will refuse to take it out for $2. They refuse to take it out. And the truth is they did call me, I just didn't respond. So I just want to make sure everybody, don't make that same mistake.
Okay. So you have to tell them, can you please do not refer me to the company?
Can you please confirm that you're not reporting me for 30 days late?
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So establishing credit, right? I want to talk to people that don't have a credit. and you're living life. You've been going by cash living before. I want to just give you some good tips on how you can establish credit. And by the way, I helped a young lady last year that didn't have any credit. She's in a 21 or 22, and really within 2 months, when I look at our score, it was 769. Like, whoa, I love that. And this is basically what I told her to do, right? If you don't have credit, it's easy for you to get a secure credit card. Bank of America and Wells Fargo would do this. You go put your money in there, $500, and they will open a secure card for you. The key thing is to activate the card and make a payment. Okay, so they will give you, you put your $500 in the account, but don't look at it like that's my money. That's where a lot of people get messed up. Oh, you think, oh, that's my money, and you go spend the money, and then you go spend extra money because you think you got a $500 credit limit, and the other 500 is yours. No, once you put that $500 in there, that's their money, and now you make payments on it. So anyway, that young lady, all she did is open a $500 score, got the card. She called me up. I said, go buy gas in your car. She bought gas, fill up a gas. And I said, give it a week and make a payment and leave it to $10. And she did, okay? And then another way you can, to get your credit to be better is keep your balances under 30%. For those of you that already have credit, it doesn't matter what you have. What is that? Can you guys see the slide?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So keep your balances under 30%. And the third way is, if you don't have credit, be an authorized user on someone else's credit. Your mom, dad, your sister, brother, it doesn't matter. Even your friend, but make sure they have good credit, right? The account they have that has very low balances and they have high credit limit. They add you to it. They don't have to give you the card. They just add you to it, but they got to add your social security number to it. If they do, you basically get the benefit of what they have been doing with that trade line. Remember, any account is a trade line. So that's basically another added trade line for you. If somebody has a credit, for example, one time I put my son on my credit, my credit limit on that card was like $35,000. So now, and I have a balance of like 200. So adding him to it, it basically means that, and I've had a credit card for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. It basically, he has that same history being considered for him. So that's a really good way to build your credit up. Okay. Now let's talk about people that are in a bad level, right? We'll talk about, from 400 to 550 is considered a bad credit. So whatever that is, I don't, there's no judgment on anyone, because everybody learn by education. And that's the purpose of this seminar, is to educate you on what you can do to be better, right? If you have bad credit, it's really because of some of these things here. And let's kind of address how you can take care of them. If you have old collections, a lot of collections people have is medical collections, right? We all don't have insurance in our life. And, or sometimes you have insurance, but you are in Oregon and you got, you got sick and you have to go to an hospital there, and you have an HMO, which, have selected hospital, selected provider for you. But when you're sick, you got to go to a hospital, right? You go there, they will treat you, but they will require payment. And that's where the problem comes, because it's not your HMO. Your company is not going to pay for everything. And now you don't want to pay the difference because of whatever. But then that collection is not put on you. So just be willing to settle the collection. A lot of people want to fight what's right and what's wrong. I would say focus on the right thing. It's a collection you get. Most collections don't come on you unless it's created by the environment for you, right? Be willing to settle those collections. You know, I've had people where I call them, I call with them to the collection company and we'll settle for 50%, sometimes 30% of the balance. And boom, that's off of you, right? The other part is to just choose to never be late, right? That's a choice now. It's a choice. Again, we'll talk about how different ways you can make sure you're never late. They will call you before and just choose to move forward to never be late on any credit line you have. And then keep your balances under 30%. You know, there was somebody that came to my office and we pulled the credit and all the credit line was just filled up. This person have credit, they are making payments on time, but all of their trade line was 100% used. And I asked, is there any reason why you're this? Like, no, not really. So you actually have the money. All right. And he's saving money to buy a house. I'm like, first, you got to take care of this. And literally within a couple of weeks, he make payments down. I told him everything under 30%. He went from, you know, like a 600 FICO score to a 720 FICO score, just like that. He's like, oh my God, I've never seen anything at 700 before. It's possible. It really is possible. It's just we have to be focused to do it. Okay, always communicate and answer your lender calls or letters. That's the major. Again, it's a lifestyle manner. If we do that, our credit will be good. All right.
Yeah, Gary, as I have to get going here, like I told you
Okay.
earlier, but are there any questions or anything you want me to answer? Or any questions from your people here that you'd like me to answer before I go?
Yeah. Well, anybody has any, you know, mortgage related questions, you know, in terms of credit that Fernando can answer?
Yes, I do have one.
Sure.
My question is, I'm doing some remodeling. So I went to a company to buy the flooring and they gave me I got their credit and they gave me 6 months to pay for this, which I think was great. Is it possible if I, will it decrease my FICO score if I didn't pay the whole thing within 6 months?
No, as long as you pay it on time. So typically what they're doing is they're giving you like 0% interest, I would assume, for 6 months. And then after that, it's going to go to whatever the terms are. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But as long as the payments are made on time, there shouldn't be an issue. Obviously, right now you're paying 0%. So, you know, obviously you may, you know, you want to try to get as much of it off, you know, right now as you can while you're paying 0. Yeah.
Okay. But if you, unfortunately, you have few dollars left after the 6 months,
as long as you don't create a late, you're fine. Yeah. But obviously I would encourage you to pay it off. The sooner the better. But as long as you are not late, everything should work out fine.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you get lates removed at any time, even if the credit paid off?
I've seen it done. That's more of a Manny question. I don't know if he's on or not, or maybe later we can address it. I have seen it done. One thing that I have noticed, though, I would say, because I've been doing this, you know, coming on 30 years, 27 years, is that it used to be easier. It's definitely getting harder. I think some of it has to do with the way that the consumer reporting agencies, the government, the pressure that is being put on some of these companies to report a certain way is making it tougher for them to work with the consumer in some cases. So it is possible for sure, but it's definitely something that you're going to have to, you know, put some work into to get done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, my man.
All right. You guys, anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm just trying to figure out how to frame it. It's a mortgage question.
Okay.
Right now in the process of looking for a home, and I've done this before years ago, and I got discouraged because here in California, we get bought out by folks who want to turn that property around, we're up against them, and then we're here trying to look for a house for the first time. What is the best advice you can give to not be discouraged?
Well, your name's Karina, right?
Yes.
Hi, Karina. So a couple things, and let me make sure I'm following you correctly. So in the past, what you're saying is when you were bidding on homes, you were getting outbid or outcompeted by other people, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that has changed, I would say, in the last 60 to 90 days is it's definitely less competitive or easier right now, more so than in years, to try to get into a home. And Gary can talk more about that with you maybe after the call. Because obviously with the market changing a bit and rates rising a bit, the level of competition has subsided. There is still some competition in some cases, but nowhere near the competition that we had, 6-9 months ago. So I will say that, as a buyer or first time buyer right now, it hasn't been a better time to buy than in years, because that level of competition, that fighting for these homes has definitely come down quite a bit.
So basically, Karina, what's happened is that investors, the government has really made it really difficult to get an investment loan now. So a first-time buyer, you're sitting on the best rate, and investors, sometimes it's like 7% for them to buy as an investor, and they are backing off of that. So you'll have less competition, but give us a call and let's see what we can do for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me go back to. I still have a few more slides, and I want
anything else in Gary, or any other questions, people, or any guests out there?
No.
See, I'm pretty popular today. What else is going on here, Gary? But anyway, guys, Gary has all of my information, and if you guys have a question or anything, mortgage related or credit related, I'll do the best I can to answer it, and take it from there. But yeah, if there's anything at all, just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
All righty, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. We have a few more slides to run through. And again, don't forget, stay to the end so we can get you the gas card. I think it comes very handy. All right.
Right.
So I want to talk about habits, right? Habits is what makes us to have what we have, right? So, we need to change those habits to form new ones. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing right and you have a 700, 20, 780 or 800 FICO score, no problem. If you're not, let's change the habits to make things better for you. You deserve a great life, so choose the wise path. And then lastly, I want to say, change your thinking, change your world. We went into the 3 myth understanding around credit. Is about changing our thinking, and that allows us to change the world. So let me kind of break that down for you. Our mind is programmed based on what we know, and that's usually a combination of people around us, what our parents have shown us, our brothers and sisters have showed us, and sometimes on the friends that we have conversation around, right? All of that determine how we live. Somebody tell you, oh, you don't need no credit. Okay, so you believe that, right? Oh, you don't need to keep your credit good, and you believe that, and then you live as a result of that. So the programming of our mind is based on the knowledge we have, the thoughts around it, the feelings about it, and the action we take, and that action determines the result we get. So today, it's like a new light bulb, right? When you turn the light bulb on, the light comes on, right? And if you get if you have a 40-watt light bulb, and then you change that and you put a 75-watt light bulb, boom, the room lights up a little bit more. And now it's new programming. And now the new programming comes from new knowledge, our thoughts around this new knowledge, and then our feelings around it. And hopefully we start taking action that will give us the result. Okay, so that's what we are hoping to put on you today. We want you to live the life, the best possible life, right? And honestly, when you have great credit, it gives you access to so many things. I mean, so many things. You want to you go to Living Spaces or Ashley Furniture Store, and they want you want to buy furniture that's $12,000. They check your credit. They say, how much you want? Like, oh, I want $25,000. They'll give it to you. It's because you have that great credit. But if you don't have that great credit, they'll be like, oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, we can't give you that much. Do you have a credit card that you can use? You see what I'm saying? So that's what this allows us to do. So let's talk about how we can dispute our credit, okay? My recommendation is to hire a professional. Manny, it told me it was gonna struggle. It's going with family out. It will try and call in, so I guess it was not able to do that. Hire a professional. And the reason why, I'm gonna tell you what professionals do and why you can attempt to do it yourself, but you don't get the same result unless you have somebody that's doing it as a business, right? What they do is they're gonna write letters in 30 days turnaround. So especially if you have old collections that have been charged off, this comes very handy. They're gonna write letters. They have the letters typed out already. They just mailing it every 30 days turnaround. And it's a 50-50 chance, right? They send it in, the creditors have to respond to it. If they respond to it, they got no chance, okay? Now, what they are hoping is if they keep sending this letter every month, the creditors will get tired or they will miss one of them. And as they miss one, they can get the credit bureau to take it off because they send a challenging letter and there's no response, right? Now, most creditors have a collection department that they know how to answer to this, right? So that's why it's a 50-50 and it could go for months before that collection gets taken care of. The easier way is to settle collections. A collection you've had there for 2-3 years, they don't see anything. When you call in, generally, you can ask them to settle. Now, I just did one for a young man about a month ago. He had 2 collections. We're calling on one. We got a really good deal. I think it owed like $4,000, and we got him to agree to like $700 or $800. And then the second one just was really tough. Same amount, actually about $3,500. They said they want $3,000. I'm like, hell no. And so I told them, I said, just wait, just leave it alone. Let's take care of the first one. That will get some points off your credit. Well, about a month and a half later, they sent them a letter, and now they agree to 40% of the payoff. Because I guess, I don't know, you just don't know. But bottom line is that collection got settled, is cleared. The 2 back collections they have is gone. His credit's gonna go back up now. So it's okay to settle, these collections, no matter how, the dispute may be. I remember this one lady like, oh, I didn't really hold this, it was I had insurance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, let's just settle this and get them off your back. It's gonna allow you to get a better rating on what you're looking to get. Okay. Now, if you have like the big ones, right? What are the big ones? A short sale, we don't do that anymore lately, but a bankruptcy and a foreclosure. Okay, those are big credit that stays in your credit for a long time, right? You just gotta find those companies. There are law firms that can take this off for you. It will be an actual formal lawsuit, and most of the time they win. It's like 99% of the time they win this thing because a creditor is not coming to court. You just got to pay the lawyer, and they will have this thing removed for you. The foreclosure, the bankruptcy, because this costs you a little bit, so it needs to be worth it, right? It's going to cost you $3,000, $3,500. To do it, but this can be taken care of, and your bad credit is gone. Okay. Now, climbing the ladder to great credit. we talk about, what makes people poor credit is a lot of collections, right? And lates. Average credit will probably be one collection, maybe one or two lates, right? Good credit means you have no lates in the last 6 to 12 months, but you just have a full, your revolving credit are pretty full, you're almost 80%, whatever. So you start getting to be very good when you start bringing them under 50%. You start getting there as you're getting under that 30% threshold. You become excellent, which is your 740 score, because you maintain low, you have a high credit limit, but you're maintaining a very low balances, okay? And then we'll talk about what it takes for you to get to 800 score, okay? So you can generally pay on time and no lates, and you will hover around 640 to 680 FICO score. If you're making your payments on time and you have no lates, you're gonna hover around that. I want you to see that, okay, if I'm doing that, this is where I can expect to be. Now, you can keep your balances under the 30%, and you can see your score go from 740 to even 800 if you're keeping your balances under the 30% threshold. And at this point, you're not just making one payment, you're making 2 payments a month. As the money comes, don't just wait for one time I'm gonna make the payment. If you can, you'll have a credit that's $2,000, you pay $500 in the beginning of the month, pay another $300 in the second of the month. They see that you're focused. I mean, this thing is a mathematical equations, but it really kind of underline everything for you, okay? So if you have good usage, this is where you get to the 800 FICO score, okay? If you have good usage and still maintain zero balances at the end of revolving credit month, you will maintain, you will be between 800 and 850 FICO score. I had a few people that I interviewed that are constantly 835, and of course I've gotten to 806 myself. So really, I can tell you how I got there is because you have good usage and you keep your score, you keep your balances down. I mean, there was one month that I paid one credit card, like $10,000. I just paid that 1 month on that credit card. Right after that, boom, my score jumped up. Like, I mean, I was already pretty good at 775, 779. And it went up over 800. I'm like, oh, this is what it takes. Okay. So that's what it takes. It's having, high credit limit and, paying them, always paying them to zero as you can. The one individual I know that's over 835 and she's offering, 845 to 850. I mean, it's only one person I know. And I asked her and she said, every month, no matter what I charge, I'm paying down to zero. I'm like, okay. That's the mindset of a great financial person. That and don't get me wrong, this lady is pretty well to do. She can charge $20,000 on a card, but she's gonna pay it off. So that's how it takes to get there. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. I guess that's the end of the slide. Now, any questions? I think I covered a lot of stuff. The presentation should have answered all of the questions. If you need this, how do I settle this? How do I do that? Now, again, if you have collections, all collections that needs to be settled, it's better to get with a credit counseling person. And Manny was not able to make it. If you call me, I can hook you up with him and he can take care of that for you. Okay, and they will be sending the dispute letter, and it does work, but sometimes it can take 6 to 12 months before you get a result. But the easier, quicker way, if it's not that much money, is to just settle, pay a penny for the dollar on them and get them out of your side, and you're good to go with that too. Okay.
question on the collections. Again, say you have like a handful of like 5 that you've had on for like maybe 3 or 4 years, and you know they're average about $100 a piece. Is it good? Is there any benefit to paying those off if they've been there for quite a while? Will that help raise the score at all?
Well, there are 2 ways we know when it's helping or it's not helping, right? When we run your credit, you will see if they're still currently reporting. So on the day you run it, everything that's currently reporting is still affecting your credit. So if we run it and we look at the date for that collection, if it shows the last date was 2 years ago, you don't need to make that payment, okay? Because it's no longer affecting your credit. But if it reports on that day, you pull it, that means it's still currently being judged against your credit. That's the one you want to settle. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Yes, I want lates off. I want that one late that's keeping me from doing anything. And I don't even have the card anymore. So do I open this card back up? What do I do?
No, if the card is closed, it's generally closed. It just means if it's a late, like a 30-day or 60-day late, and the card. Yeah. So do you still have any balances on that card?
No, I paid it off.
Okay.
I didn't like the card. I didn't know at the time.
Okay, so that one would be subject to a credit person, sending letters on your behalf.
I need to buy.
Okay, so I can connect you with somebody that will do that for you.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions?
How do you feel about programs? Like when they offer programs, is that something to jump on right away or what?
Yes. So.
Okay, so it really, again, if they are telling you we're gonna dispute credits for you, and it's a program you pay monthly to, because they are constantly sending something for you monthly, and they don't know when it's going to not be responded to. I kind of told you the pattern is they're writing the letter and they're waiting for those creditors not to respond. When they don't respond, they can have the bureau take it off, but they can't have any guarantee on that. So you have to keep paying them, I don't know, $50 a month or $30 a month for them to keep sending the letter until it gets removed. And you just got to do that.
Okay.
I had a lady that came to me. Oh my gosh, she had like 20 something collections. I mean that it wasn't her, but somebody had done it to her on her credit. So I told her to get through this credit counseling people, and it took a minute, but out of that 20, it's down to like 8 now, where it was removed. So it barely jumped because again it's just so many of them. But I told her that's the only way to go until it gets to the point when it's like maybe down to 2 or 3, and then I can come in and help her call and settle those 2 that is refusing, because some of these lenders, they have their own system in place too to refuse you, and in those situations you just got to make a settlement with them. All right.
Okay, let me back to the program situation. What about those programs that give you software that can do it, to give you that you can purchase software like $20 a month that takes care of it for you rather than the expensive ones?
Okay, I mean, if you got a software that allows you to do the dispute online, by all means, go for it. Absolutely. But just expect it. Again, the difference between you and a pro person is pro person know exactly when they got to respond. Because we have our own life that we live. We remember to do that one time. And then when that time comes that we're supposed to do it, we forget about it. And then we do it a week later or 2 weeks later.
Right.
That's the problem, that it's not consistent with us. A pro person that's their job, they will do that. So that's where people always miss, like, oh, why I'm doing it, I'm not getting the response. Well, Are you on time? When it's, oh yeah, I missed that one. Yeah, that's the difference. You know, somebody that's their job will do it right. But you know, if you can put it on your schedule, put it on your Google Calendar. Okay, I need to do this letter at this time, and you know, then by all means,